Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm your host, Tomás Garza, and coming at you from a little different time frame here today. As you have noticed, no doubt, this show is a daily live stream and it bounces around a little bit in terms of time. So thank you for joining me, and good afternoon to all of you. Good morning to some and good evening to others. If you're catching on the replay here, welcome. Feel welcome to leave any questions, any comments, any observations, thoughts that you might have about today's material here in the comment thread. This is something that I am certainly aiming to do, and that Enlightened World Network also aims to do, is to create a global community of like-minded people, a global community of people seeking answers, earnestly seeking answers to some of the most basic life and spiritual questions. So wherever you are in your own walk, in whatever tradition, there's something for you here on the network and in this live stream, because A Course in Miracles is a presentation of universal spirituality. It does not matter what religious tradition you come from or not. If you don't come from one at all, that's perfectly okay as well. Doesn't matter what your spiritual practice looks like, how old you are, what gender you are, where you live in the world, how you were raised to think about spirituality, yourself, the world around you. None of that matters at all. There's something here for you during these lives. And what I aim to do is simply to turn my camera on, as I just have, turn the microphone on, as I just have, and share with you my experience. So if you're catching me for the first time, or you've only seen this live stream a couple of times, welcome, first of all. And I have had A Course in Miracles as the centerpiece of my own spiritual practice since 2013. So for the past 8 years, this has formed the basis of my practice, and it is daily. In fact, it's more than daily. It's moment to moment. No question about that. And I've studied in many different traditions, a couple of different Christian traditions. When I was younger, I grew up in the United States. I still live in the United States, though I've traveled the world and lived in other countries. I had the experience of being involved when I was younger in a fundamentalist Christian tradition. So I have that experience. I've also studied Buddhism, specifically Tibetan Buddhism, Vajrayana, in the Kagyu tradition. So I have a number of different backgrounds spiritually. One of the things that I love about A Course in Miracles is that it is a self-study course. It's beautiful. It is universal. It gives us something to do, and we go at our own pace. Now, I'm proceeding along in the segment known as the Workbook for Students, and today we've arrived at lesson 109 that I'll talk about in a moment. But one of the things that I love is that it doesn't matter who you are, your station in life, or where you come from. There's something of value here because this course talks about principles that apply to all of us, every single one of us in this world. And if you doubt that we're all completely interconnected, I invite you to just go through some of these lives or go through some of this material and honestly go through the entire workbook for students. There are 365 lessons. So in theory, one could accomplish this in a calendar year, though it may take longer than that. I invite you to go through this material and see at the end of 365 lessons if you don't feel any differently about all of our interconnectedness. Now, I believe, and deep down I know, that because you're watching this live stream, you resonate with this somehow, some way, or you wouldn't have turned this program on. There are millions and millions of other things that we could browse online, aren't there? There are millions of live streams on YouTube all the time. There are millions of YouTube channels. So something in you resonates with this message. Now, I would venture to say that it's not me, it's the message itself. I just happen to be sitting here with the camera on and the microphone on, delivering it. That this is what I do, and I'm happy to do it. So I really want to thank all of you for tuning in today, and please feel welcome to leave comments or questions here. This is one of the most fun and the most beautiful components of this live stream for me is this interaction. And some days there are a lot of people asking questions. Some days there aren't live, and we all have extraordinarily busy lives. So I do want to invite you, if you're catching the replay of this show, to leave comments and questions anyway, because I will see them, I check them and get back to them, because if there's any way that I can answer any questions for you or be a helpful resource to you in your own spirituality, in your own practice, that is exactly what I want to do. And that is why I'm here. And that's one of the things that I really feel very strongly about. Also, we've had some wonderful, wonderful people tuning in this week. In fact, we have had people asking some excellent questions, some poignant questions, some hard-hitting questions. It's a beautiful thing because you never know who you're going to impact. You never know who you're going to reach in the world. And it is a lot like being in a classroom, sitting in a room, and there's a teacher and you're a student with a bunch of other students, and everybody has the same question, but a lot of us are hesitant to ask for fear of being shamed or ridiculed, or we ourselves think that the question's a stupid question, or the teacher's going to think it's obvious. Somebody's going to laugh at it, or laugh at us, or for whatever reason, we're simply uncomfortable. Someone raises their hand, asks the question, and then boom, there's an instant sigh of relief because 20 other people had the same question. This is the same thing. You never know who may benefit from your honesty, from your courage, and from your own inquiry. So I'm here to answer questions as best I can. So feel welcome to do that. Really, I invite that. Okay, so today's lesson is very simple. The ideas in the workbook for students are all quite simple in terms of the statement. This one more so than many. It's lesson 109 in the workbook, and it is, I rest in God. Just that, period. Yes, I rest in God. So what we're doing today is we're allowing ourselves to rest in our own true nature. In other words, in who we are without all of our psychodrama, without our conditioning, with all of that gone at our core, at our essence. I rest in God. Now we have an unequivocal, unalienable, undeniable right to this peace. It is who we are. So we can and should sit and rest in this peace. We should and must access this peace. This is a peace of mind, a total peace of every aspect of our being that is available to us anytime we wish to rest in it. And it takes us out of all of the madness that governs life in the world. Now you might say, okay, there's a lot of beauty in the world. Well, maybe so. There's also a lot of madness in the way we live. Our beautiful experiences don't last. Why? Our conditioning has us drawn right back into our habitual patterns of behavior that don't serve us, that don't serve other people. In other words, we go back to identifying with the ego. Resting in God is resting and leaving all of that drama to the side. It's getting an experience of who you really are. And this commentary for today's idea beautifully states that it is the rest, yours is the rest of truth. You're resting in truth. Yours is the rest of truth. So I invite you to go through and to read the commentary for today's lesson. It's quite uplifting. It's quite beautiful. The lesson itself, the practice itself, is very simple. I rest in God. In truth, there is no other place that we can rest. There is no other place that we, in fact, can rest. So by so doing, we're inviting everyone else in the world to rest with us. This is both a call to practice and an invitation, not only to yourself to practice, but is an invitation to everyone with whom you're connected. Ultimately, it's an invitation to the entire world to join you in peace. It's a call for the entire world to join with you in peace. And this is something that each of us has the right to access at any time. So if you doubt that, I hope that you may leave that doubt aside. And if you have it, no problem. I've said many times on this live stream, I value and appreciate skepticism, but while you're at doubt and skepticism, question literally everything. Leave absolutely no stone unturned. Question the very foundations of everything that you are. How about that? Of the whole world, of yourself, of everyone in it. Question literally everything. That is the best use of questioning. I love that. I do love when people say, this sounds a little far-fetched. It may sound incredible to you. And one of the beauties of this workbook is it does specify, and it very clearly states that we may actively resist some of these ideas. But let this be just a practice for you that you don't resist. Giving yourself a few minutes of peace today. Because deep down, we all want that and desire this. It's who we are, and we're all getting back to that. And when we arrive back at that, we realize we haven't gone anywhere. We've never left, because this peace, this love, has always been present, even though we have wandered off and gotten involved in who knows what. So this is a very simple and very profound idea here today. Quite simply stated, yes, I rest in God. All right, so let's see who's tuning in and joining me here today. And this is a daily live stream. I've been taking Sundays off with my own scheduling, but every other day of the week I'm here. And yes, if you're joining me here, let me know you're here. Give me a shout out and say hello. And thank you all from watching here on Enlightened World Network or on my personal Facebook wall here. So it's a lot of fun for me to be here. And as I bring up the comments, let's just see who's joining me here today. And yeah, it looks like Kamal is here from Pakistan. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions at all, feel welcome to leave them here. Yeah, I'm delighted that you're here. I've had a couple of people from Asia on here, and a number of Europeans. There was a woman joining us from French Polynesia earlier this week, plus a number of people here in North America where I am. And it's so wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me here. And again, this is a daily live stream here on Enlightened World Network. So if you have specific questions, I'm happy to address questions about A Course in Miracles, about today's lesson, which is lesson 109, I Rest in God, or anything related to your own spiritual journey, your own walk, your own practice. I am here to be a resource for all of you. And I thank you all so much for joining me here today. Have a nice day, everyone, and I will see you again here tomorrow.